Down in the depths of the mountain, we dwarves spend our time forging powerful weapons, mining precious gems and metals, and feasting like kings. But after a day of digging for the next Arkenstone, this dwarf likes to come home to a package full of loot. Dungeon Crate is a monthly subscription box service forged specifically for RPG and tabletop gamers. Miniatures, dice, tokens, coins, maps, modules, terrain pieces, handcrafted items, RPG jewelry, and more are yours for only a few gold per month. You even get a digital crate along with a physical one as an added bonus. So are you brave enough to reward yourself with a Dungeon Crate? By Morden's beard, I hope so. DungeonCrate.com. Let the adventure begin.
Hey, today we are here with Wayne from Dungeon Crate. You are the owner / overlord / creator of the crate, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for taking some time out and talking about this. We did post about it, and we talked about it on the podcast a couple weeks ago. I wanted to get you on so we could find out a little more about it. So why don't you start kind of from the beginning? What made you have the idea to create the Dungeon Crate?
Well, I think at first it was after a trip from last year's Gen Con. I've been an entrepreneur for about 10 years. I have a writing business with my wife, and it's a small business. And I've been wanting to start another one. But I'm also really heavily into gaming and crafting. I make terrain and all sorts of things like that. And when we came back from Gen Con, it was great because I had a bunch of stuff with me. So I had coins from these vendors. I had new dice. I had dice bags. I had towers. I had all this stuff. And I really thought it was cool. And when I started looking into subscription boxes, because we kept thinking, well, maybe Loot Crate or something like that would be cool. It just seemed like there isn't a whole lot out there for role-playing gamers, like things that I brought back from the convention that I wanted to spend my money on that I could use in-game. I wanted to be able to have physical things like tokens for inspiration or different effects on the board. I wanted to have new miniatures, things like that, and dice. And I couldn't find a crate like that. I couldn't find a subscription box like that. So I thought, well, maybe that's an idea. So I kept going through. I found Myth Horde, which is another one that started about a year ago, and they do a lot of independent press, modules and whatnot.
Right.
And I was thinking about, well, what about other things? There's a lot of handcrafted stuff out there, and there's also furnishings. I'm a big maker of dungeon tiles and furnishings and all sorts of things, thanks to DM Scotty's Games and Crafts, or Crafts and Games on Facebook there. But so, again, I was like, well, there should be tons of them out there, and I couldn't find one. So I thought, okay, well, this might be a good thing to do. It'll fill a niche that I think other gamers would really enjoy. They would like to get. And the big thing that I keep hearing was that, man, we get Loot Crate and we use one or two things, but the rest is all nerdery that I'm not interested in.
Right, yep, exactly.
I wanted to create a crate that you use and you're excited about every piece in there. So, and that you can use it in any game as well, as far as table. You can use it in multiple games. So every piece gets used, whether you wear it, whether you give it as a gift, but also whether you use it on the table or off the table. And I think we started looking in about a little over a month ago, into different products. And we found a lot. We found a lot of vendors out there. We found a lot of independent individuals that make stuff or provide pre-painted cast items. And we thought, wow, this would be great. So we put it all together.
I was going to ask, what's the response been like from your vendors that you've been contacting to see, if they wanted to take part and have their items in the crate every month?
The response has been great. A lot of them have already worked with different boxes or different type of subscription companies like that, so they're kind of used to it. People like ChessX and whatnot, but otherwise they're very enthusiastic about it. Mainly because it's a great marketing piece for them. This is a way for us to help promote these smaller companies that want to offer products. It basically turns into a direct marketing campaign. And it's kind of a win-win. Our subscribers get some really cool stuff. They get to give feedback. If they like it, they can go on their website and purchase more. And we like it because we get to provide that for our subscribers, and our vendors like it because it actually helps market their piece, and it's a low-cost, high-volume type of deal. So we're purchasing items or getting free samples or things like that we can put into our box budget, and they get to reap the benefits of maybe somebody will find something small in their box, and they go and they buy something bigger from their online store.
And I know what kind of sets you guys apart from what, you have said in your email blast that you've been sending out is you're thinking about maybe doing a digital companion to this. You want to talk about that a little bit too?
Yeah, that's something that we felt was pretty important because there's a lot of people out there that are offering modules that you can download. So for some of my games that I do a 5th edition campaign, and I also do a 5th edition, what I call Dungeon Club. For people that don't have time to go into a campaign, these are just one-off sessions that we get together for. And those are great for if you have a one-off 4-hour session. I always would go online and I'd look for some of these independent publishers that have modules online and that I could just download. And I thought, well, this would be great for people to get. They can either get a digital crate or a physical one. But with the physical one, there's always going to be some digital materials in there. The other thing was there's a lot of crafters out there and a lot of people that do homebrew maps and homebrew character sheets and all sorts of cool stuff like that. And I thought, well, this would be a great idea to offer to our subscribers so that it's kind of all in one place. So we're working with a lot of people that are going to be able to offer us products like maps and character sheets and NPCs and adventures and things like that from a digital aspect too.
That is pretty exciting, actually, to me. That's kind of what caught my eye about this whole thing was I'm like, well, I like that like you said, you'll get maybe a map or some tiles you can print out yourself or something. That is just that little extra that I think is going to set you guys apart.
We're really looking to set ourselves apart and trying to look at different subscription box services and find out what they don't do and what we already do. Because my partner and I, we both have podcasts. We both have YouTube channels. I do a lot of craft. We're involved in different groups on Facebook, a lot of different gaming aspects. He's a tabletop war gamer, and I'm a role player. So it's kind of one of those things that, we want to set ourselves apart as much as possible. So we're going to have things like apps. We're looking into apps so that you can get a Dungeon Crate app that would not only help you manage your subscriptions, but it would offer tools like a digital, like a virtual dice roller, initiative tracker, things that I use at the table, in 2 or 3 different apps that we want to offer as well. We want to offer an online store as well eventually. So some of the things that we're getting in, whether it's from handcrafted people or different things that you are Dungeon Crate exclusive, you'll be able to go online if you like them and purchase them right from us. And and different videos, tutorials, everything like that. We want to be as interactive as possible and just kind of make it to where if you're a subscriber, you get more out of it than just a box a month. We want to really make sure that if you're a subscriber, you get a lot of benefits, a lot of free stuff, a lot of just extra things that you can add into your game.
So for those people that maybe missed the post that we put up about this, can you kind of tell us what will be in a sample box or what maybe you're thinking about putting in a box?
Sure. Well, we are going to have the box is a 6x9 by 3 inch box. That's the prototype we're looking at right now. So we've got a little bit of space. So we're working with different things. Like I want to offer, we'll go down the list here, dice bags, stickers, T-shirts, RPG stickers and T-shirts, RPG jewelry, so like dice jewelry, coins, metal coins. I've got a couple of companies that make these amazing metal coins that you can use in game. We want to do tokens, so different special tokens for either encounters or dead guy tokens or different effects from spells. We want to offer, again, homebrew maps, adventures, different things like anything physical that you can have in game. We're looking at those kinds of products. There's a great company that we're hopefully working with, Arknight, that is providing these really cool flat miniatures. They're full color, but they're clear. So you've got basically the outline of the rectangular outline is clear. You can see some pictures of them on our site, but when they're all set up on the table, they're flat minis, but they're clear. So it really gives a 3-dimensional look to it.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, really just different items like that you might go, wow, that's great. So that's kind of what we're hoping to have. And we're finding just new products every day. And it's very exciting, especially the coins. I've got these coin makers are fantastic, real metal struck coins and cast pieces. So also terrain pieces. We've got a company called Night Watch Games that's providing us resin cast, like Hearst Arts pre-painted terrain pieces and basic furnishings for, say, inside a tavern or something like that. So you might get a table with a plate and bread on it, or you might get a fireplace or something like that one month. So we're working with them on those kinds of things as well as some other casters. So we're also looking at the crafting community, which is really big and we're really into. We paint miniatures, we make terrain. So We are also looking at people that will provide molds. We're looking at companies like Reaper that's going to provide us with brushes, paints, different crafting materials. So that's another group that we felt was underserved in this as well. You have to either get a loot crate or an art crate of sorts. We want to combine that because these crafters are also heavy gamers as well.
And I know you're still in the planning stages of this, but you have any idea on the price structure that you're going to go with, or is that still kind of up in the air?
Yeah, it's about $5,000 a month, and it's no biggie. We just want...
Yeah, everybody can do that. Come on now.
Yeah, you get the entire catalog. And
exactly. Look at all the stuff you're getting.
No, we are looking. See, that was a big thing as far as the balance, because a lot of these things that we want to provide, if they're not free, they're going to be around the $6, $6 to $7. I mean, it's going to be each piece retail. We're looking at $10 to $15. So we have a price point that we have to have per box or per item.
Right.
So we're trying to, and also all the costs that go along with it and the shipping, and we're working all that out. So, but once we put all these into this calculator from the provider we're using, it looks to come out to around $29 plus shipping. So depending on what region you're in the U.S., we're also looking into overseas shipping. So for that, the $29. That's the other reason that we are, because it's going to be around $30 some, maybe 30, but with the shipping, depending on where you're at, a little over $30. We didn't want to exceed that. We didn't feel it was, we want to make sure that the products we're putting in there doubles the amount of money that you're paying. So if it's a $30 subscription, hopefully you're getting around the $60 to $70, basically all the items retail value would be that. So you're actually saving money, but it's worth it, and we want to make sure that people know if we go smaller, if we go down to a $20 box or a $15 box, it's just not going to have a lot of the quality of items that we want to eventually provide. We will be providing T-shirts. We want to provide larger items. So some days or some months, you might get maybe a larger piece of terrain that is a little bit more expensive for us to get, but is super cool, and then we can put in a lot more of the samples and the other stuff, so you're still getting a very full box, but yet you get a really nice piece. Everybody gets the really nice piece. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now, and we're really trying to make sure that it's all budget wise is going to work out well, and it's always a work in progress.
And what are you thinking about the first box will ship when you looking to launch?
We are going to open, so right now people can sign up and put their email in there, and we're doing the email blast. We are looking to launch in the middle of January. So we've got a couple more weeks. We just have some things to tie up. We wanted to tie up, all of our business end of things here, or creating the business here, and then also being able to get some more pictures of our prototype box, so that when people sign up and they go to the website to do so, they see what they will get. They see some of the items that we're looking at. There will be a video up there that introduces it. There'll be a FAQ. All that stuff will be set up. So yeah, the first box then will probably go out in either late February or beginning of March. And that's just the first one. And after that, it'll be middle of every month.
And if people want more information, what's the website they can go to?
Well, you can go to dungeoncrate.com. And then you can give us an email, too. Right there, if you go on the dungeoncrate.com, you'll be able to sign up on the email list. If you want to get a hold of me or my partner, you can go to dungeoncrateinfo@gmail.com. And yeah.
And I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but let's kind of branch out from the Dungeon Crate here, and let's talk about your podcast a little bit. You want to tell our listeners about your podcast? Because I have just started listening to it, and it is an amazing podcast. I love it so much.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
I think my favorite episode you've done so far was the Gen Con episode.
Really? Oh, God.
Just like hearing your reactions to... It sounded to me like that was maybe your first or second time at Gen Con.
First time.
Okay, yeah. And I could kind of tell because you kind of had that, that, oh my God, this is crazy.
It's so awesome. Such a good time.
Yeah, it came across well in your podcast on that. So you would tell our listeners just a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, it's called the D&D 5e podcast. We started it because, I run a bunch of different shows. I run 4 different podcasts. I've had Worlds of Wayne is an entertainment podcast. I do a lot of touring bands and celebrity interviews, and that's been going on for 10 years. And I do a horror podcast called the Necronomicast, and we do interviews with all sorts of people in the horror movie industry. And
I will have to check that one out.
Oh, yeah, there's some great interviews. And then, D&D 5e podcast was started because we started getting into it in our own campaign. Very excited about it. we wanted to learn more about it. So we started a show not as experts, but as, hey, this is us. This is me and a bunch of guys that we play with and some other panelists that are learning how to do this. And these are our experiences. And this is what kind of questions people are posting on different Facebook forums. And so, yeah, we're kind of going through it with everybody, and we love it. So we're kind of using that also as a promotional vehicle for Dungeon Crate, kind of an extension of that show. But we love it. It's fun.
What's the website for the podcast if our listeners want to check you out as well?
That's going to be the D&D. It's actually just dnd5epodcast.com, and you can go there.
All right. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to talk about your podcast and, of course, Dungeon Crate. And we will be sure to keep all of our viewers and listeners updated as to the status of the Dungeon Crate project.
It's coming. We're excited.
We can't wait.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Yep. Thanks, Wayne.
Here in the force of Elandril, we elves defend the woods from beasts and men. I myself have helped drive off goblin raiders, slain a giant spider, and composed an elven symphony for the Blood Moon Harvest Festival, and that was before lunch. So when I'm not sliding down the trunk of a barbarian elephant beast after killing it and its occupants with only my dagger and a few arrows, I look forward to coming home to a Dungeon Crate. Dungeon Crate is a monthly subscription box service crafted specifically for RPG and tabletop gamers. Miniatures, dice, tokens, coins, maps, modules, terrain pieces, handmade items, RPG jewelry, and more are yours for only a few gold per month. You even get a digital crate along with a physical one as an added bonus. As an elf, I appreciate quality craftsmanship, and Dungeon Crate delivers, even if it's put together by humans.
Sir, sentries have discovered several dwarves and a wizard trespassing in our woods.
I was wondering what that smell was. DungeonCrate.com. Are you ready? Let the adventure begin.